Welcome back to another episode of A Demo a Day, where you know what they say, a demo a day keeps the garbage away. The rules are simple. We play a demo, a preview, or a play test for an upcoming game, and at the end, we decide whether the game belongs on the wish list or whether it belongs on the shit list. And today, we're talking about Pubes. Yes, Pubes. That is the name of the game. Pubes is being developed and published by... Is that allowed? Anyway, it's currently planned for release in 2026 on PC via Steam. The demo was released on Steam on the 11th of June 2026, and we played it live on Twitch and YouTube. The Steam store page describes Pubes as a 3D action game where you control a strand of body hair and move around a 3D room. You use the unique fluffy, floating and sticking abilities of body hair to jump into clothes, fabrics and objects as you try to reach your destination. If you get sucked up by a vacuum cleaner or blown away by the wind, it's game over and you restart from a checkpoint. There are apparently multiple body hairs to choose from with different specs. The story is about a man who's just got a girlfriend, and the Pubes realize that this relationship is a direct threat to their survival because for some reason they think the girlfriend loves hair removal, and if things continue she might recommend a full body hair wipe. So the Pubes decide that they need to sabotage this relationship. So yeah, Pubes is a game where you literally play as a pube trying to ruin a man's romantic life for the greater survival of the pubic colony. And they do this by removing themselves from the body, therefore sacrificing themselves and placing them in places around his apartment where they think they might be found by the girlfriend, and therefore she will get disgusted by it. A true hero's tale. And to be honest, I've probably made that sound way better than it actually is, because Pubes is fucking terrible. Look, I knew what I was getting into from like just the quality of the cover art on the Steam storefront. I was recommended this game by one of my friends and viewers, and so I felt obliged to put it on my list of games I was trying out for Steam Next Fest. You know, sometimes you look at a game and before you've even pressed the download button, your brain goes, this is either going to be genius or this is going to be absolute trash. This is not genius. This is one of those games where the game is the joke. It's got a funny title. The concept is funny. You're playing as a pube. It's funny. And I get it. I understand what it's going for. It's meant to be stupid. It is meant to be ridiculous. It's meant to be the kind of thing that people play on stream so everyone in chat can point and laugh and go, haha, you know, he's playing a pube game. But the problem is that even joke games should probably still be fun to play, and Pubes is just not fun to play. I think the game thinks it's doing a sort of getting over it with Bennett Foddy kind of thing. You know what I'm talking about, that very specific style of deliberately frustrating physics game where half the comedy comes from the player slowly losing their mind as the controls fight back against them. And there's definitely a world where a game about a tiny strand of body hair trying to navigate a room could be funny in that way. You float around, you stick to fabric, you get launched across the room, you try and reach awkward places, you scream, you laugh, you fall, you try again. That could work. But getting over it works because underneath the frustration there is control. It's horrible, but it is precise. And when you fail, you know deep down that it's probably your fault. You might not admit that because you're busy calling the game every name under the sun, but you know what I'm talking about. With Pubes, it doesn't have that same feeling, man. The controls are so bad and so unresponsive that I never felt like there was any rhyme or reason to the movement. Or if there was, the demo didn't give me enough time to figure it out. Sometimes I would move in the direction that I wanted and sometimes I wouldn't, but I would be pressing the same control inputs. Sometimes I would stick to something. Sometimes I would clip through walls. Sometimes the game would behave like a physics challenge, and then sometimes doing the exact same thing, it wouldn't at all. For a game based entirely around getting from point A to B, that's not ideal. I think movement is the game. Traversal is the game. That challenge is the game. So when the simple act of just moving around feels just completely out of your control, the whole thing just falls apart. And visually, I mean, what can I say? Just look at it. I know it's cheap. I know it's a silly indie game. I know it's not exactly trying to be The Last of Us Part 3 Pube Edition, but there's cheap in a charming way, and then there's cheap in a way that makes every object look like it was downloaded from a folder called Free Room Assets Final. The whole thing is exceptionally rough, unfinished, and borderline broken, if I'm honest with you. Well, not even borderline, but it's broken. The clipping through objects and walls was insanely frustrating. I would also get stuck on walls, and then the controls would just give in. You couldn't do anything. There were moments where I genuinely couldn't tell if I was playing badly or whether the game was just bugging out, and I'm pretty certain that that's not meant to be the intended experience. And if it is meant to be the intended experience, then that's arguably worse. And when a game is that frustrating, it just cannot be fun to play. The intention is a game about controlling a pube that's chaotic and awkward, and fine, I can get on board with that. But when the chaos is a result of the control being completely out of the player's hands, it's just not funny. It's just annoying, and everything feels out of control. Even when I would get to a checkpoint, you know, I might have released a scream of hysteria, but not because I felt like I had done something skillfully, but just the fact that it was over. Like, it wasn't, yay, wacky physics game. It was like, why am I even holding the controller? The game wants you to laugh at how stupid it is, and I did. But had I not been playing it on stream and like laughing with my viewers, this demo would have lasted no longer than 5 minutes and then uninstalled. Because without an audience laughing along with you, the fighting of the controls negates the joke itself. The premise of the game being called pubes is the whole novelty, and when that novelty wears off, you're just left with this game with terrible movement, ugly presentation, and physics that feel like they were literally duct taped together. And again, I'm all for a laugh. I love stupid games. I love weird indie nonsense. I love when a developer looks at the entire medium of games and goes, what if we made something just completely outrageous? I respect that. I genuinely do. But there has to be something under the hood. It can't just be a title and the fact that you are a pube. Because when they're done right, a joke game can still feel really good. A meme game can still have clever design. A stupid concept can still be built on satisfying mechanics. In fact, the best joke games are funny because they commit to the bit whilst also being playable. Pubes does not. It commits to the bit, but the bit is the entire game. The punchline is the gameplay, and not because we're laughing with it, but because we are laughing at it. And I certainly didn't come away thinking that was stupid but brilliant. Came away thinking that was just stupid, and that's the difference. Maybe there's an audience for this. Probably not. Streamers will get a clip or two out of it, and to be fair, that might be all the game's trying to be. But for a demo a day, the question is very simple. Did this demo make me want to wishlist the full game? Absolutely fucking not. Pubes is a meme. It's cheap, it's rough, it's frustrating, it's broken, and it's nowhere fun enough to justify the joke. I get what you're trying to do, I just don't think you've done it very well. Pubes is a no for me on the wish list. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a like. If you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing. If you played Pubes, let me know what you thought of it. Is it game of the year? I'll see you in the next one.